Hi, it's Joy, and today we're watching Only Murders in the Building, Season 3, Episode 3, Grab Your Hankies, Gotta Find a Killer. I'm so excited for this episode. The first two back were brilliant. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of these reactions on my Patreon, and let's go!
Something small but bright. Maybe something only visible to
You
one
have a
person.
heart problem, you should be resting it.
Maybe one night wasn't enough time to write a whole show.
Are you kidding? One night in 1978, I wrote 2 musicals in George Plimpton's bathroom.
Well, A, were they good?
1 musical in 2 nights. It's all pretty hazy.
B,
The point
you're
is,
old
Norman
now.
Mailer. Everything we need is right here. Look at this cast. They're all killers.
As we look at the cast, we are faced with an unsettling truth. Any one of them could be the killer.
That was fine.
Oh, Oliver would be a little more snarky.
Do you want me to... Oh, okay. Excellent, Charles. This time, try it with a dash of none of what you just did.
Yeah. Oh, God, I miss him.
I love this show. On a side note, I'm currently reading this book. I don't know if you can see it or not. The Appeal by Janice Hallett. It is like entirely told from the point of view of emails and text conversations between the different people involved. The murder doesn't even happen until halfway through, and you've got to kind of like, as you read, you solve it. It's really good. And I feel like if you like this show, you probably like that book.
Death Rattle Dazzle! A Death Rattle musical.
Yes, good.
Song so irresistible, it's like a syringe that shoots from Broadway straight into the neck of Debbie from Duluth. For the low, low price of everything she's got, Debbie can have the privilege
That
of
is
sitting
what
in
it's
the
like to be a
finest
musical theatre
rear
fan,
balcony
yes.
seat in all the land, to finally see that
Feel
show
called out.
with that.
Well, you have to remember, a lot of them grew up idolizing me, so they keep their distance out of respect.
Charles, you're obnoxious with them.
That his blood was clean, but maybe it was one of those poisons that dissipates within 5 minutes.
Like succinylcholine chloride.
Tried to poison him, failed, and then finished the job at the Arconia.
Could also be two separate people, but I wonder.
Twice.
Jonathan?
Ben dead.
The understudy? Was he looking to do it as part of an internet meme?
Why are you saying it like that?
At least he didn't
No,
say
it doesn't
meme.
matter. It doesn't matter. Do you think they were hooking up?
I don't know, but another female killer that's so done.
The night that Ben died, he was holding someone else's handkerchief. But who in the cast doesn't have theirs? That could be our killer.
Remember those hankies that Ben gave us? What if we each found ours and just showed them to each other? Or me, showed them to me. Losing anybody is hard. Well, not anyone, not like a Hitler or a Stalin. Though I would not want to
Oh, Lord,
diminish
stop.
the grief of Miss Ben gave us those hankies and used them to create a
You're very subtle.
quilt or a quilt type object.
What were you saying about Hitler?
Thank you, Howard. I said thank you,
The
Howard.
question is, can these people sing? You didn't make
I
them
sense a great deal
audition
of
singing.
sadness in this room. Who wants to keep doing the play?
It's their Broadway debut for a lot of them, or at least a big...
Bring Death Rattle back to life.
Yeah.
And turn it into a musical.
Yeah, these...
Oh yeah, I left some equipment at Ben's I need to pick up.
He could have done it.
Doing a documentary on him.
I don't know where, so I'm gonna have to look around.
Sure.
Maybe for a while.
Sounds perfectly reasonable.
This guy could also be the murderer.
Delivered so naturally.
Especially because see him. I love the penthouse every season.
This is my 3rd time in this apartment, and I've never loved it more.
You know, it didn't matter how big and loud and crazy it was. It was just because it felt true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get it. Everybody, Loretta gets it. We can be as wild and exciting as we want.
Finding your...
A boom mic. Left my boom mic here.
Are they both snooping? Is he trying to make his documentary into a thing about the death?
Do you, and I'll do me, and then we can both... Oh, shit. Armoire.
What?
Now.
Oh, there's a cardboard cutout in there. Is he trying to make a documentary about the death now?
So you listened to the podcast.
I like the first season a little better than the second season, but it was cute.
Cute?
I mean, I liked it.
Sorry. I'm so sorry, Ben.
Sounds like a grieving person. Is he sorry because he killed him?
Go for Ben.
What? And the crabmen are
Oliver.
breeding.
Oliver, why are there crabmen? I mean, you'd cast different people for a musical. This time would have been better spent writing the songs.
Look at them.
That might be my end.
Hmm.
Oliver, how would you feel if I threw you under the bus?
About to throw myself in front of one.
Are they gonna buy it? They're not friends
I
anymore?
didn't mean to insult you. You know, and with flooding, it's tricky because you gotta.
Not that I'm not enjoying this National Geographic film, but if Ben's dead,
And he ripped away my camera and stormed off into his dressing room, but it was still recording.
footage from the night he died, that's what you were looking for.
That's what I found.
Let me see it.
No, for your podcast. Yeah, right.
Well, let's work as a team.
Take care, Madeline.
Mabel. Wait, Flubber. What happened?
Some rope and worked for 3 hours to pull it out.
It's amazing.
It's a good story.
See you around.
Ta, Tabby.
Time to explore. He seems lovely. Please don't be the murderer. Of course, she pickpocketed
Did
him.
it ever occur to Oliver that
What if we took all of the hankies that Ben gave us and we threw them at Oliver's feet? That would make a statement. And then I would pick up the hankies later for the quilt.
I'll bring my hanky tomorrow?
Me too.
Awesome, because
This musical version of Oliver's is disrespectful to Ben's memory, right?
Yeah.
So Charles, you'll tell Oliver we're not going to do the musical, right?
yeah, we're not going to do the musical.
Great, you got it.
They're just using you to get to Oliver. Like, not to get to him, but because you're his friend.
88 when I got my Tony. Tony was a dog I owned. And yes, I did choose that name to confuse people.
I
you know.
love how all of your stories always end miles from where you start.
What do I have to do to get people to see what I see?
There's a chance that what you see just isn't there, though.
I'm afraid not. Oliver, that is good.
I promised Donna Oliver Putnam, meaning big and loud and big.
But
And I think
this
we
production
all know
is
that
different.
You are more than just loud.
Mm-hmm.
What I love about Oliver Putnam's shows is that underneath all the boss, there's a vulnerability.
That's Oliver.
That's what makes
Mm-hmm.
Oliver Putnam special as a director.
Hello? The door was unlocked.
Hi.
Oh, good. I was hoping you'd still be here.
Pinch me.
I'll do you one better. Congratulations. Oh.
Thank you.
It starts next week in LA, so we have to let them know right away.
Wait. Excuse me.
Oh,
I'm
she's
sorry.
leaving.
It sounds like a wonderful opportunity, but
It's a guaranteed season pickup. That's stability, right? No more scrounging for work.
Mm-hmm. She should take it.
Yeah.
cannot be serious. What about our
Oliver,
show?
Yeah.
What about
she
the last
has
few months?
to.
Well,
I discovered you.
but yes, that's not a reason to punish me.
Exactly.
Oliver.
She's under contract.
Oliver, you bastard.
Under contract. Sorry.
Oliver. You're not a very nice person.
Fuck.
I know it's because he's struggling right now, but that is the worst side of you that just burst out.
The baby elephant thing, I lied. I didn't get out of the tree. I kept filming as it got more and more tired and more stuck.
It's your job.
God.
Stab myself in the eye with it and just stab and stab, so I'll be
Your
too
heart.
dead to be humiliated when
I come from television and I was trained not to question a script.
But But you understand me, Loretta, and that's been a rarity in my life.
Then release her from her contract.
I'm not going to enforce the contract.
Good. You should have contacted her sooner, because they could have turned them down.
Well, what's the favor?
He's red flagged himself too much.
Will you sing the lullaby? Set the scene. It's late at the Pickwick Lighthouse. The triplets cry out in the night. Their mother
Why are they
has
triplets
died,
now?
But they're not alone.
I love that it's still the only murders music.
Little one, let me sing you to sleep.
She learned it instantly. She is brilliant. I like that they're looking at it together.
We both know you're bad.
Why do I almost feel like he was already under the effects of the poison and he was seeing, like, his childhood self or something? This is a very sweet song. How on earth did she learn this instantly? I will suspend disbelief, but I love this.
Cliff's first producing.
We're in. Mom, we are in. Do you remember what my doctor...
But you're gonna ruin my career. And I'm gonna like it.
I'll miss you. I cannot thank you enough.
What is he talking about?
I'm staying. You discovered me, Oliver.
I want her to go. And not like in a, I want her to go. But in a, I truly think, like, I mean, admittedly, yeah, being on a spin-off of a spin-off of a spin-off isn't like a great illustrious role, but it's steady money, it's good experience, it might get her spotted, it's something to have on her, like, when she goes to audition, she can say that's where she's been. This musical will hopefully be a huge success that will catapult her into stardom, but or at least, you know, into being able to continue to do something that she loves, but, like, it also could flop. Musicals don't have the platonic rule anymore.
Yeah, I really wanted to give you my hanky, but I must have thrown it away. Or donated it to a good cause.
You've got to check the rest of them. It's a tacky hanky. I love musical theatre.
If one person is shining a little brighter than the others, sometimes you can't help it. It's a competitive business. You may need to snuff them out.
It's too early for it to actually be Kimball, right? This is just her song, Kimball. You'll get yours. Okay, this was a really good episode. Again, I think we're still waiting for the season to like build into itself, which isn't a criticism. It's the way this show works. We're still kind of setting the building blocks in motion, feeling out who the new characters are. Starting off with the suspect we have at the end, Kimball. Now, I do not believe she's going to be the only person who couldn't find the handkerchief. It was quite tacky. And then when the guy was murdered, you're probably already throwing it out. They were all talking about, like, oh, you got this. Especially if they had bad memories. Like, from what I gather, whether she was the woman or the person he was speaking to, I should say, because we didn't see whether it was a man, woman, or figment of his imagination in that video. It seems like they had some or interaction, whether it was romantic or not, and it wasn't a good one. I don't necessarily think I'd keep a tacky handkerchief from him regardless. I would probably throw it out too. And I think they can't not, what they need to do is see if any cast member can produce theirs. But I also don't think that is quite the smoking gun they think it is, because if you've just murdered somebody and if you notice, they've ripped the handkerchief that you had in your hand, in your pocket, in your hair, around your neck, wherever it was, you may not notice, but if you do notice the handkerchief is missing, you might think that's evidence. And so then when you're back at the party or you'll see someone else from the cast just, my handkerchief, it's not like they were personally embroidered to each person. Like, I don't think it's necessarily going to be the smoking gun. It's a good place to start. And definitely the people that have them and don't have them, there should be a list of that. But they could also have just purloined one from another way of doing it. Could definitely see Kimber sort of assuming when she arrived, she was like the young female lead, I presume, the young woman in it, so that she would be the star. But now this older woman is singing and everyone's admiring her, and that's why she joined in. It wasn't because she was so genuinely moved, it was because she wanted that moment in the spotlight. But I don't think she killed him. I think she will continue to try and prove how dedicated she is to this. I think she will try and get her own song. I think all sorts of things. She might even try and pitch that actually it would work so much better if my character, I'm not entirely sure who the character is, if my character performed the Lighthouse song, wouldn't that be better? You know, she'll do stuff like that, but I don't necessarily think she's a murderer, especially as she's the first ever suspect. Though it would be an interesting twist if she's our first suspect, they kind of dismiss her, and then ultimately we will come back around and it is her, because I think so far it's only been people they didn't initially suspect or ever suspect until they figured it out. Then Oliver. He did not shine this episode, not just in his artistic process, but in the fact that the way he told her that, like, when he was screaming at her, like, the contract. Now, yes, it is good that he ultimately changed his mind and said, like, you know, I'm not going to hold the contract over you. I think the moment she'd walked out the door, he regretted it, but he didn't run after her. He didn't send her a text. He didn't phone her. He didn't do anything to immediately alleviate that. And I do view it as a red flag, somebody lashing out at you that strongly, trying to hold you back because they want to keep you close. And that is a red flag. Now, maybe you give them another chance romantically. I was thinking even if she goes up to her show, they could still be a relationship. They wouldn't see each other all the time, but they could still be together. I hope she's not secretly evil, but I also, at this point, I think she can do better than Oliver. I'm saying it. Unless she's a murderer, in which case he can do better than her. Now, turning down the show in order to stay and be in the musical. Now, if this musical is a huge hit, that is the right thing to do. And I suppose, potentially from an artistic integrity point of view, it could be the right thing to do, because being a family member in a spin-off of a spin-off of a spin-off isn't exactly a great illustrious career move. But this musical could also be a huge flop. New musicals are so risky. Some of them shine, some of them get a cult following them, and some of them you never hear of. The song does have a great deal of promise, but yeah, turning down that role, I think she should have taken it. Now, it's hard because obviously, like, if the musical goes successfully, obviously she shouldn't have taken it, but it's a steady income. She's clearly comes from some degree of money, so she's not had to worry about that over the years or something, because just the steadiness of it, having your face out there, is something. I think her feelings for Oliver, I think that's my main issue with it, is I feel like her decision was somewhat muddied by her feelings for Oliver, which makes me think it wasn't a rational decision. I hate when anybody chooses someone they love over a career in that way. There are other times where potentially it's a viable choice to make, but in this instance, I kind of feel like, especially as Oliver had just been quite awful to her, and yeah, he turned around and said, like, I'm not holding the contract. I bet she's not going to LA because they've already turned it down and they cast someone else. But no, I really, really liked the song. I mean, I love musical theatre. What she was saying about how you get addicted to it was rude. Thankfully, I only live an hour from London by train, so I can get to the West End relatively easily. I mean, very easily. I just get on a train. 55 minutes later, I'm in London. Walk 20 minutes, I'm in the West End. But tickets are expensive, and I do get the crap ones, but it's fine. I really did like that song. Like, I kind of want to listen to it again. It was weirdly good. Better than the Creatures of the Night. Well, no, the Creatures of the Night did feel like an opening number song. I am very intrigued. I would love to have them release like a soundtrack of this with all the songs they write for the musical, assuming they write more. I am assuming the understudy is going to become the detective or the dad or whoever Ben was playing. But yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how this all shapes out. It is lucky the entire cast can sing. I know the majority of people, I suppose, like, if you know you want to become an actor, you're probably gonna like try and get singing lessons or whatever, but not every single person who can act can sing, so they are very lucky that everybody they cast in their non-musical can also sing. Very excited to see where it goes. In terms of the mystery solving, obviously Mabel has found a huge clue with the video. I like that she and Tobit looked at it together. I mean, we'd say Tobit looked at it together. Being able to kind of both share in it. I wonder if they're going to do some more sharing of information. There is a part of me that wonders if he is going to be a suspect. I mean, he was always around. It's going to make for a much more compelling documentary solving the murder, or at least covering the murder, than just following him around while he does a play. But I hope that, you know, season 1, Mabel wasn't romantically involved with anybody dodgy, but somebody else was. I'm kind of hoping the two, not that Mabel is romantically involved with him, and he is a fair bit older than her, I think, but like, she's close to him. You know, hopefully that won't happen and he can just be a decent friend or something more in her life. I don't know. And I also do hope that Loretta, I couldn't remember her name for a second, also turns out to not be the murderer, because again, we've been there, done that. But then we wouldn't expect it, so maybe they would do it again. So the tape. Now I'm still not. There's a part of me that's not convinced he wasn't like talking to something he was imagining, a child version of himself. But then the thing about how it will ruin my career, I don't care. Like there's a part of me that thinks like, is he gay? And there's a part of, and so he's got that kind of, oh, I'm the leading man, therefore I can't be gay. Like I know various actors have talked about how they're told by their agents and by their like management, don't come out, it will ruin your chances. And like, not the case. If someone is playing a straight person and they're attractive, I will probably fancy them. And if somebody is playing a gay person and they're attractive, I will think they're cute. I mean, they're attractive, but you know, not for me. It's I watched Bridgerton and I swoon over Anthony. I'm fully aware that Jonathan Bailey is not going to ever be interested in me, and neither would Anthony, but you know what I mean. So I wonder if it could be that, or it could be as simple as it's Kimber, but I don't entirely know why that would ruin his career. Actors date their co-stars, however young, all the time. It could have been like, was he talking to like some drugs? I don't know, but I'm very, very intrigued. Was it the donut or the cookie? Was it the cookie? He's obsessed with cookies. No, so yeah, it's a cookie. I've solved it. It's a cookie. Someone left cookies in his dressing room and they know that he's addicted to them, and if he sees them, he will eat them. And he thinks it will ruin his career because he's on a strict Cobra Man diet, and so he has to have his physique a certain way, and if he eats loads of cookies, he will get fat, and therefore he will not be the man, because that's how people's brains work, and he is on a strict diet. I've solved it. He was talking to a plate of cookies, and now he has eaten that he ate the cookies, and somebody had poisoned the cookies because they knew he was addicted to them, and I called it. I've solved it. It wasn't a woman or a person talk. He was talking to a plate of cookies. I'm gonna die on this hill. Okay, so solved who was in the video. And the question is who left him the cookies. It would basically be anybody that knew him / was in that the table read, and pretty much everyone was in the table read, so that doesn't really narrow it down. Don't have any theories right now. It is true that the brother was saying I'm sorry when he was crying, but I also feel like that could have just been because he threw the Cobra Man egg thing across the room, and that made him sad. Plus, like, you are sorry that someone you love dies. I don't think it's the brother at this point, but we will see. I cannot wait to continue to delve into this mystery. I've definitely solved how he was poisoned, and I'm annoyed it took me so long to think of it, and I refuse to go back on it. But yeah, fantastic episode as always. We're really building into this season, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and thank you so much for watching.